I'm at the Kambe house. Kambe Kotori still feels like a pebble to me. It's a strange phenomenon. I haven't forgotten her. I can find all sorts of evidence in my memory that Kambe Kotori is precious to me. But my emotions say she's just another acquaintance. I know that doesn't make sense. A mental illness. It's true that I survived a potentially lethal injury. An abnormality in my brain might be like all the scaffolding in my mind being shaken around. Not being able to trust my memories and feelings is horrible. People need something to rely on. If it's something vague, they can just spend some time checking on it. I checked my phone. As usual, no response from Kotori. If it wasn't for Yoshino, I'd probably fail to recognize that as a problem. And that's why I'm trespassing. It's so simple. So easy. Well, trespassing in other people's homes isn't that hard to begin with. All I have to do is hop over the wall and make sure no one sees me do it. I know I felt some rising lust around here somewhere. Was I just imagining that? The same cop as before appears with impossibly bad timing and almost spots me. There's something seriously suspicious about that guy. His instincts are too good. But I have no rising lust beyond what's perfectly normal for high school boys. Once I get inside, he won't be able to see me. I am home free as soon as I get over the wall. Even if Kotori's family's home, I can just apologize and ask what the hell's going on. I look for a door that isn't locked. No luck, I'm screwed. I could break a window to get in, but I want to try one other thing first. Okay, here we go. The window is locked, but there is a gap in the frame. Though it's only enough to slide a piece of paper into. I take out a small box cutter. These days, even something like this can get confiscated by the cops. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt. I make a very shallow cut in my right wrist. Ow! It pierces the skin. No blood comes out. Instead, aurora flows up. It's easier to bring it out when I have a wound. I can use it without cutting my wrist, but that makes the blade a little less precise. Having a wound makes the aurora come out of a specific place, so it's easier to control. Which makes it more efficient. Okay, go. I slide the aurora through the gap in the window frame. It still solidifies at the same speed, so I form a shape quickly. Here goes. I don't need a weapon this time, so I try a hook. After it hardens, I pull on the latch with it and the window opens. The aurora breaks apart into dust. I open the window, take off my shoes and head inside. I look around the room. At first glance, nothing's out of the ordinary. But it doesn't feel like anyone's living here at all. If two adults and their daughter live somewhere, they can't avoid leaving signs of it. But there's nothing here. I open the fridge. It's almost empty. All the plates and utensils are neatly arranged in drawers and cabinets, as if they've never been used. The air even feels dry. I can't conclude anything just from this. But it's really hard to imagine the Kambe family actually lives here. What's going on? Also, what's that smell? This isn't something I normally smell, but it's also something I recognize. My sense of smell is stronger now. I try following it. I end up at a small locker. Is this Kotori's dad's room? The locker looks pretty strong, and it's bolted to the floor and wall, so I can't move it. The door is unlocked. The lock itself looks rather impenetrable, but it's been left wide open. I open it up, and the smell gets stronger. Gunpowder? I think about what that might mean. A gun locker. I know Kotori's dad belongs to a hunting club, so this means he's a licensed hunter. Kazamatsuri used to be full of dangerous animals. I feared that's why there are more hunters here than in other prefectures. Of course, there used to be a hunting rifle in here, but not right now. It's empty, which means this doesn't feel like a sudden transfer anymore. Something's fishy. But I can't draw any conclusions yet, so I should keep gathering information. Next, Kotori's room. I feel a little guilty about this, but I have to investigate it. It's a very girly room, but it still feels like there isn't much here at all. And this bookshelf. This is a little fantasy-like, but it's not filled with fantasy novels. It's probably easier to list topics than titles. Medicine, geography, geology, local history, botany, folklore, gardening, biology, ecology, zoology. The whole wall is covered by shelves filled end to end with books like that. It's like a library. Not a single book that you would expect a high school girl to read. I don't have time to search through all of these to figure out what Kotori was after, but how should I interpret all this? Medicine, geography, geology, local history, botany, folklore, gardening, biology, ecology. My instinct tells me one of these doesn't fit. For instance, the gardening books feel pretty different from the other subjects. But it does overlap heavily with botany and biology and such. She read the stuff because she wanted to learn something. What was Kotori trying to learn? I doubt she was just being an academic. She probably skimmed random topics whenever they came up, trying to get a general grasp of how these things worked. Kotori was investigating the overall system. She was trying to understand how the Earth works on a large scale. If that's right, then some of these really do stand out. Medicine and folklore. These are clearly human-centric subjects. Technically, geography has a lot to do with humans too, and local history is mostly about what humans did here. But folklore feels the most out of place here. I tried flicking through a few books on that subject. A lot of them are about Celtic myths. They come up a lot in video games, but I don't know much about them. I don't get how this is relevant. She has enormous scholarly books on this specialized subject. What does that mean? A light bulb goes off in my head. Two completely unrelated things suddenly connect. This idea feels absurd, but it probably isn't. Some part of me has known this for a while. Chibi moth. A mammoth. My thoughts suddenly become murky. A dwarf mammoth, maybe a pygmy mammoth. Sharp pain. Chibi moth. Stabbing pain. Chibi moth is a mammoth. Chibi moth isn't a dog, he's a mammoth. The moment I say that, I feel a violent urge to vomit. I knew it. I've been rejecting this idea. I put such a strong taboo on it that it's making me nauseous. Why wouldn't I? Chibi moth has to be a dog. He did look like one at first, but thinking logically, it doesn't make any sense. Kotori found Chibi moth. It's getting even worse. I have a headache now. My instincts are ordering me not to pursue this thought. I tell them to fuck off. Monsters. But I couldn't resist the biological urge to vomit. Acided fluid fills my mouth. Ugh. I dash for the bathroom. Thankfully, the plumbing still works. I knew this all along. I had sensed it quite a while ago. Kanbei Kotori can control monsters. She what? The forest again. Kotori's probably in here somewhere. Most likely she's at that place I stumbled across a few days ago. It's a hunch, but I'm confident in it. She's not transferring at all. Kanbei Kotori is doing something deep in the forest. She's been walking out there all by herself for a long time now. No matter how well she knows the area, that's too dangerous for an ordinary girl. She must be extremely familiar with the geography. No, that's unlikely. The forest is just too big. You can't even use cell phones once you get far enough in. I brought my search equipment this time, but who knows if it will actually help. From what I've heard, compasses and transmitters won't work. She must have had some special help navigating this place. Like Chibi moth. I almost died in this forest once. 1 or 2 years ago. My memories of it are still vague. But the ribbon girl was there, I'm sure of that. As for the girl who was trying to help me, what happened to her? Wait, was Kotori there too? That's weird. How many people were there? I guess I do have brain damage. My memories aren't making any sense at all. I should focus on finding Kotori for now. At night, the forest is controlled by a thick sea of darkness. Normally, it's too dark to even walk safely, but with my heightened senses, it's not a big deal. Even the slightest moonlight is enough to make everything look bright. My eyes are acting a little like night vision goggles. I can do the same with my hearing if I want to. My skin is more sensitive too. If I pressed my fingertips against a bunch of seeds, I could probably count how many I was touching. Without this power, I'd never be able to explore the forest at night. My senses should be enough to guide me to Kanbei Kotori. But what really bothers me is her parents. Apparently, her parents called the school to arrange the transfer, but do they really know what their daughter's doing? I'll just have to find Kotori and ask her about it. And more importantly, I want to fix this glitch in my heart. This feeling that Kanbei Kotori is just an acquaintance. I hear leaves rustling. I slow down to avoid making any noise myself. The noise came from far away. It probably hasn't noticed me. I creep quietly toward the source. Eventually, I catch a glimpse of a reddish shadow. A tiny silhouette. It's like a small animal. It might be a monster. I raise my alert level. I approach it. Did it hear me? I deploy my wrist blade ever so slightly. Just enough to make a small military knife. I haven't cut my wrist, so it feels a little awkward. Before it hardens, the small red silhouette leaps out of the bushes. Just a rabbit. That's right, I've gone far enough into the forest to see animals. I see, it looked red because of its body heat. Somehow I have thermal vision. Yay! That's not a good thing. Why not? I'm afraid of becoming inhuman. I better keep moving. After walking a little while, I climb a tall tree to check my position. The town glitters behind me. A chandelier emitting a mix of white and red light. That reveals how many people are there. But in front of me, there's a small, faint greenish-red light up ahead. The same glow as my aurora. That's gotta be the place. There's still a lot I don't know, but all the mysteries are connected, more so than I thought. If I go there, I should learn a lot. I find a piece of wood buried under the ground. I pick it up. You obtained wooden bear! It's been carved into a bear shape. Though it feels more like Winnie the Pooh than any real bear. The edges are smooth, so it must have been done recently. I've seen something like this before. The wooden mammoth. This was made by the same person. You obtained wooden giraffe. They still look like animal crackers. There might be others around here. You obtained wooden hippo. These things are pretty small, but somehow I'm finding them easily. Is this just a coincidence? You obtained wooden lion, wooden snake, wooden owl, wooden fox, wooden dog, and wooden cat. They weren't all buried in the same place. I just cut out some travel time. My pockets are full of animals. I'm a walking zoo. The place they were buried form an arc, like a barricade. There's probably a huge circle of these things. If all of these have anti-ghost powers, there must be a really good reason for having so many. In fact, I might have just torn up someone's anti-ghost defense system. Crap, she's gonna be mad at me. But I don't remember exactly where they were, so it's too late now. I'll just have to give them back when I find her. I decide to aim for the center of the circle. I find something again. I pick it up. You obtained someone's right arm. What? Kya! I throw it away. What the hell? Several corpses are lying on the ground. They're all real. And none of them are pretty. Most are torn apart and covered in blood. Lots of what look like organs are scattered around. No, that's just nasty. Some bodies have giant holes in their sides, like someone gouged them out with a huge spoon. Some bodies have their limbs torn apart as if bombs went off inside them. Some bodies are cut clean in half. There's so much dismemberment here, it makes you wonder if human limbs are meant to just pop on and off like pieces of an action figure. I can't even count how many bodies there are. I try to avoid looking at much of it and approach one of the least gruesome bodies. Hello? He's dead. On closer inspection, his head and body are filled with several holes. That's definitely what killed him. This reminds me of that dragon's tongue. It seems like they died a long time ago. It's winter, but the area is filled with the smell of death. Gah, bugs. I noticed part of the ground looked white and wriggly, then I realized it's a swarm of maggots. His blood and other fluids are probably leaking out from that part. Blech. I stumbled across a mass grave. I was prepared for something huge, but not quite this huge. Did Kotori have something to do with this? After I get past a certain point, suddenly the air gets warmer. I'm here. Even late into November, this part of the forest still retains the spring heat, just like the place where I injured myself. Hey, it's her! So you are here. Come to think of it, I did see you walk into the forest. And you were there when I had that accident too. Weren't you watching me at the time? The ribbon girl doesn't approach me. Maybe all these animal crackers are keeping her away. In fact, when I take a step forward, she takes one back. Hey, could we talk? Could you please tell me, what do we have to do with each other? Why do you keep appearing in front of me? Does it have something to do with my injury? So you won't talk. Is Kotori here too? Maybe she doesn't want to talk at this distance. I drop all the animal carvings at my feet. Then the ribbon girl stops taking steps back. You're not a ghost at all, so I don't need to fear you. I walk up to her. Her face is still lacking in emotions. Before I described her as something in the shape of a human, that's definitely accurate. She acts as indifferent as any of the insects around her. It proves she has no soul. I reach out to touch her. My senses scream. Above me. Alarms are going off in my head. I jump to one side before looking up. I deliberately roll over a few times and leap up into the shadow of a tree. I think I executed it as smoothly as a video game hero after you press L and R. I look at the place I was standing a second ago. A long rod is sticking through the ground. It fell from the sky at the speed of lightning. If I'd wasted time looking up, it would have gone right between my eyebrows. It's a proboscis. A straw-shaped organ shot out like a blow dart. It symbolizes the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. Oh, it's that dragon again. Dua! The dragon's back! I want to cry. In video games, the first boss usually won't kill you even if you lose to it. But in reality, losing means death. So I can't act rashly. As I think about it, the shadow above me moves. In my night vision, its silhouette is completely black. No redness. That proves it's not alive. When it spreads out its wings and tail, it looks like a dragon. It also reminds me of a pitcher plant monster, but it's definitely the monster I saw that night, the leaf dragon. It shrinks like a balloon losing air and clings to a tree trunk. Did it crash into it? No, it did that on purpose. I've seen that before, that's just how it lands. Its proboscis flies out with another whoosh. The coil unwinds in midair like a whip. A large piece of the tree it landed on disappears. Ah! Crap! Why was I spacing out? I could have died. I run away, tripping over myself a few times. That whip. It's like an explosion. If that thing hits me, exploding internal organs will be the least of my worries. I remember the corpses from earlier. The dragon killed them all instantly by stabbing or whipping them. I can't let my guard down for even a moment. I hide behind a safer looking tree. It's so thick, it'd take more than 2 people to encircle it with their arms. But given how good that proboscis is at penetrating things, it doesn't help much. No time to cut my wrist. I deploy my wrist blade without cutting. It doesn't form as smoothly as usual. This blade often ends up in a weird shape if I don't focus properly. Hopefully it comes out well this time, but I have no time to check it as it forms. Fortunately, it looks like it came out alright. I feel a little better now that I have this. Okay. The leaf dragon curls up like a deflating balloon and waits. Honestly, it looks weak. Approach and cut it. That's the only choice I have, apparently. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna kill it with one slice. Whoa! Its proboscis runs through my head, killing me. What? Dead end. I'm not that stupid. I almost ran to my death just now. That was just a suicide run. I know how good that dragon is at sniping. That thing couldn't be more accurate. And even with my super senses, I still can't dodge his attacks easily. Why do you think I try to make projectiles? Because I need a way to attack from long range. I can't deal with things like this from short range. It doesn't matter how weak it looks. It may appear like a bunch of tangled vines, but it's insanely powerful. If an ordinary dragon is like a jet fighter, this leaf dragon is like an assault chopper. It fills itself with air to become buoyant in a matter of seconds. It can hover in place and shoot projectiles, while it proposes at targets on the ground. Its use of floating and falling to fly around doesn't resemble any animal I've ever seen. So this is one of those monsters that doesn't resemble a pre-existing animal. It can even twist some of its vines around nearby branches. It can grab onto them, and that allows it to pull its body toward the tree trunk. A very tricky set of movements, unlike any bird or insect. And it can chew it while it's doing that too. If that isn't enough to scare someone, then seeing the pile of corpses from earlier should do it. The dragon is far more agile than it might seem. Meeting it is one of the most terrifying things that's ever happened to me. Even though I can use my aurora now, I can't wipe away that emotion. I hear something slice through the air. Not good, my instincts warn me. I press L and R in my mind, leaping to one side. It pierces the tree trunk like tofu. I have a hunch, and immediately act on it. I release my blade, though it feels a little wasteful. Then I squeeze out new aurora. I push it forward while it's still ribbon-like. A mid-range attack, my ribbons extend outward. They wrap around the proposes in the tree. Harden! I accelerate to the hardening. My aurora immobilizes the proposes. Okay, it shouldn't be able to attack me anymore. Or so I thought. I feel a tug. A 1 on 50 tug of war. For some reason, that image comes to mind. I had no chance to dig my heels into the ground. Nor even the time to get rid of my aurora. I hadn't done anything. I thought I'd immobilized it, but I just attached us together. It pulls its proposes back, dragging me toward the trunk. It's hard to believe the force behind it. It pulls back so hard my aurora blades shatter. Before I can jump away, I feel another attack coming. The noise was smaller than I expected. Considering it went straight through the tree trunk and my chest, it lacked a sense of power. But it was definitely the sound of a killing blow. I can't immediately recognize the pain. It's so hot. The sensation of a foreign object being jammed into my chest. A hot metal rod being shoved through me. No way. Where? Where did it hit me? Part of my body can't move. I feel around my back. I find it sticking out of my side. This is serious. I scold myself for despairing. I'm fine, it's just my side. It's not necessarily lethal, I think. I quickly harden an aurora blade and pass it between my body and the tree trunk. I try cutting it. The proposes immediately pulls out before I can hit it. Ow! It hurts more when it pulls out, but I'm free now. I can run. She's still here. That girl is standing next to me. She tilts her head, gazing at my blade. The dragon can easily see her from there. Run! With the sound of a sharp, pressurized burst, the proposes flies forth again. This time it's definitely going to penetrate me. I can't believe what I see. The ribbons connected to the girl's wrists bend sharply, deflecting the tip of the attack. What was that? The ribbons move faster than the dragon. It attacks again. She deflects again. Is she saving me? The ribbon girl looks unfazed. Since she lacks human emotions, I guess she doesn't feel fear. I can't read a single emotion from her face. Her ribbons flash, knocking the dragon's needle out of the air. She gazes vacantly at the repeated attacks. She doesn't care. The ribbons are multiplying. I didn't notice when they became so numerous. I thought it was just one ribbon around both her wrists. Now it's split into dozens of separate ribbons, filling the area in front of her. It's almost like a wall. The dragon's attacks can't penetrate it. Amazing! It feels a little weird, but it's pretty. The ribbons float around everywhere as if covering the area in mist. I see. These things are just like my aurora. So that's how to block it, but there's no way I can copy that. As I think about that, my vision goes dark. I've lost too much blood. I'll probably lose consciousness soon. I still don't know a damn thing, but I haven't accomplished any of my objectives. I'm so pathetic. Before I black out, I feel my body being pulled up. Am I floating up to heaven? Chibi Moth?